Alright, we're out here at our chop saw with our 1x1/4 material. I've measured our 14.5 inches, another 14.5 inches, 9 inches, and 9 inches. Now we'll line it up and get her cut off. Another little thing I like to do is we want our piece to be 14.5 inches. So I've marked it at the 14.5 inch mark. But if you'll notice, I put a little dash on the left side of the mark because we want where our cut ends up to be right at 14.5 inches, so that the material we have left is 14.5 inches. We want the little thickness of the blade here, the loss of material, to be on the left side of our mark. So that little dash lets me know to basically take out the mark, leaving all the material on this side. And then that's what that little dash lets me know. Because if I was to just cut right down the middle of the mark, we would lose a little bit on the piece that we want. We want this to be exactly 14.5 inches. And if we do the next one the same way, they should be both exactly 14.5 inches. We're not losing a little bit here and there with the thickness of our blade. Alright, now we got our 4 pieces. So basically, something like that's about what I have in mind. The rear motor mount bolt will go right through here. The 2 upper motor mount bolts will go through here. And then we'll put a bolt through here, tagging it all together. And then we'll have a steel plate across the top of our 2 battery mount plates. This is the first one. We've got our 14.5 inches on the bottom here. We've got a 1/4 inch bolt through it, holding it together with the 9 inch upright. And then here's the 2 pieces for the other side. Got them clamped together with vice grips. Use that as a template to drill the hole through the center of the second plate. Working on getting our battery mount made up. We got our bar hooked to this motor mount bolt. That would be this bar and this bolt. There's a bar down there. So we'll go roughly about that, hidden behind the frame of the bike. So you just got to mark where the holes need to be for this upper mount here, and then we'll make another one for the other side to match. Alright, here's one of our upper brackets for our battery mount. I use one of the motor mounts, that's where we're bolting it to on the frame, where this bolted to, as a template. I've put the bracket on the frame and marked it with the gray circles to give us an idea where it's going to be. Then I use this as a template centered to make sure we put our 2 holes exactly where we want them. I ran the 3/8 bit through this and marked the center spot of each hole. Then I used our spring-loaded center punch to center punch the center spot of each hole. And then I used the stubby 1/8 inch drill bit to drill our pilot holes. That should be pretty well centered. And this is roughly how our battery mount will be set up. This side will set on the bolt, same as the other side, the old motor mount bolt. Support the batteries underneath. Have a junction right here, and then we'll be bolted to the 2 up front engine mount supports. I'll trim this off and round it up nice and pretty. And I've got the hole down here offset, that way it brings this up a bit. That way our batteries are floating right above this outer frame bar here and totally supported by our two inner bars. Now that we've got our one bar made, we know exactly where everything needs to be. The rear hole is offset just a bit. We know where our front two holes need to be. We can use this as a template. We'll just put a 1/4 inch screw here, 1/4 inch bolt I mean. Put a 1/4 inch bolt through there, lock them together. We'll put a couple of vice grips in it and then use that as a template to drill our offset hole. And then we'll do the same thing with our upper mount. And we should have exact matching pieces. Used our first piece as a template to make the center hole there. And then here's the upper bracket and did the same thing. And we'll take the vice grips off it, remove our template, and then give it a couple center punches and then drill out the pilot holes. And then we'll drill it out to the full size. Alright, I think I got it figured out now. Let's see here. These are the bars I made for Plan A. And they were a little bit too low, so I had to make some bigger bars. That was 1/4 inch by 1 inch steel. And this is 1/4 inch by 2 inch steel. And them fitted up nice because the batteries was hitting on these peg bars a little bit. So this cleared nice, but it stuck up a lot and wasted room. And I didn't have a flat plate to actually hook the battery tray or battery plate down to. Well, heck, why don't I just use some angle iron? And this is what we finally come up with. It's about 1/4 inch lower than the 2 inch, but it's about a 1/2 inch higher than the 1 inch. And then once we set our tray on here that the batteries will actually sit on, clears everything real nice. Good strong area to set our batteries on. And then where the batteries hold down, I even threaded it so our battery hold downs will screw right into the bracket. We won't need extra nuts and bolts or hardware. Our battery tray for the bike is set up like this. After 2 or 3 different size adjustments, I've got that all down good. And then we was going to have the battery stacked up like this, and then a fancy hold down. But then I come up with a better plan. This is the top view. But we'll just have all 4 batteries or 3 batteries set up here, and instead of a little separate battery to run the accessories on the bike, I'll just have another full-size battery. So that way all the batteries match. And if we want to move up to 48 volts, we just got to do a couple of adjustments, and it's already set up to hold the 4 batteries. And if we go to 48 volts, we'll use a voltage converter to run the accessories on the bike. And it's also a simpler hold down situation. I just need 2 straight brackets across each of the set of batteries and just 7-inch bolts that'll be threaded right into the base.